We are Hear Us Out. Hey everybody, welcome to Hear Us Out. Paul, you can give me a thumbs up when the live actually comes through. Yeah, it has.
Yeah,
Actually,
no,
can
it's
we
gone
check
live.
your audio? Cool. Okay. So, um, we're doing our second ever live stream, and yet again, for the second week in a row, we've had at 7:59 technical problems. So next week, it only took us 3 minutes to sort it this week. I think it was 7 minutes last week. So next time we do this, it'll be a minute and a half between us wanting to start and actually getting out there.
It's going down in an exponential rate.
That's it. That is it. So do we have any? Hey, we have some people in our chat room already. Who have we
Yes,
got
we
there, Paul?
do. Solomon 67. How's it going? He says, "Evening, lads."
I think
You
I,
know,
I think I might know that cheeky young chappie. It's good to have you on board. I won't use your real name. We don't use real names or addresses here, except for I am Patrick. The
and I
guy
am
in
Paul.
guy in the top left hand corner is Paul, and I'm going to see if I can change our views so we're side by side. I'm even going to give us big me face camera. Hey everybody, big Paul face camera, and then back to the fight page.
Oh.
So Paul, we should really get on with our episode now that we're actually live streaming properly. So what's tonight's
Yeah.
episode about?
So we're talking about Disney since it's come out in a kind of big. Can't believe I'm going to sneeze on camera.
Oh, good
Nope, I'm
man.
not.
Oh,
Which goes, yeah. We're talking about Disney Plus. It came out in the start of this year, and with an unbelievable look, I guess, for the streaming service. Like terrible look for the rest of the world, but unbelievable look for the streaming service. The pandemic happened, and they have skyrocketed in subscriptions, haven't they, Patrick?
it's timing is everything in this world. Now they came out in America first, end of last year. Then they went wider to. They're not quite fully international yet. I know they have some of Europe and some of the rest of the world left to go. India, I believe, is still on the cards. But I did notice there was news today that Disney have. We reported that by the end of December, they'd already hit their plans for the first 6 months. So in 2 months or whatever it was, they'd done the first 6 months of subscribers. Well,
Yeah,
now the number of subscribers they planned on having by 2024 is what they already have as of today. So
yeah,
they were going to have a loss leader and lose money on Disney Plus, as all these companies have to. They were going to lose money for a few years. It looks like they might have to lose money for a few less years, which is good considering Disney and every other business, thanks to COVID-19, are in financial peril.
yeah. Like it was interesting because they suggested that their projections was 24, like around 24 million subscribers at the end of the 6 month period, and they've essentially doubled their thing, which is like in the context of the streaming wars has become like a major player suddenly
Yeah.
out of nowhere.
Well, it's huge that they're heading towards a third of what Netflix has in such a short time, and they still
Mm.
aren't fully international. But we're going to talk about, like, both of us have the service. Open disclosure, paid with our own little pennies. We broke our little piggy banks and paid our own little money. I have a year subscription. I didn't do any of the crazy long term stuff for extra value. Um, I I like it, but it's a qualified I like it. Like I have my issues, which thank
Oh
God
yeah,
for internet TV here. It's good to have issues because if I just liked it and that's all I had to say, this would be a really boring episode.
yeah, that would be. It would be terrible for our for our argument. But
What do you
you
think?
have the year one.
I paid for there was an offer if you signed up early that you could get a year of Disney Plus for like 50 something quid. So
Yeah, I've got the month one
oh right,
because I wasn't. I was also like, I'll sign up for the seven thing. I'm gonna sign up for a month because there's gonna be a point in time when I've seen all of the Disney movies that I want to see, and I'll be like, I'm gonna hold off on, and also probably most of the Star Wars TV shows and Star Wars movies. That I'd be just like, yeah, I'm done with this for a while, and I was just gonna quit. Um,
being
oh
completely
yeah,
honest, there was a little bit
so
of money to be saved by signing up for the year, so I saved myself like a tenner, and I thought, it takes me so long to cancel things, I'll probably have it for a whole year anyway.
Oh, I completely understand. Solomon, which is 67, also has this on a monthly subscription as well.
Oh, very
Yeah,
good.
no, I was just Netflix is always my go-to. Premiere Prime is just because I have Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
This was because like there's a list of kind of movies that I would want to watch again. But I was also like, there's going to be a point in time when I've, as I said, watched them all and just be like, I'm not paying for the service until something new comes on.
Well, I
You
want
know?
to, and in the spirit of full disclosure as well, I don't think anybody's going to arrest me right now. If you put the pieces together, if there's anybody, any detectives out there, if you want to incriminate me for what I'm about to say, I love The Mandalorian. I've watched all of The Mandalorian. All of The Mandalorian isn't out on Disney Plus here yet. So in a lot of
Yeah,
ways, I was paying for a service because I knew that I already had gotten my value from it. So it was more of a fair's fair. I watched your stuff just because you wouldn't let me pay for it previously. I'd like to pay for it now. I'm not
yeah,
big into, we all had our years of piracy on the high sea, but they're just so far ago that they're whatever the statute of limitations is. That's how long ago any of that activity was. So no, I think for what you're getting the entire Disney library. And now when I say entire Disney library, the entire junior Disney library. It's not everything that Disney has because they have notably omitted some more adult-oriented content that they actually own.
yeah.
Have
We're
you
still trying to.
noticed any big glaring omissions?
I'm trying to think because I found that Black Hole was on us and was just like, how did they ever let that onto it?
Hang
It
on,
is a
Black Hole
psychedelic.
is on it?
Yeah, Black Hole's on us. The
Fantastic.
weirdest guys. If you haven't, by the way, which is Nora says that it's a bit limited catalog wise,
Yeah.
and Brew FM also wants to know if you can sign up for 30 minutes. You can't, but what you can do is your 7 day trial thing if you want to have a look at everything. There's
That's
a little
true.
tip for you.
That's true. You can
Um,
also sign up for 30 minutes to this show. You just send me and Paul 7.99. 7.99 sounds good. Yeah. Okay.
yep. Um, but yeah, Black Hole's on it. Yeah, that like old Maximilian 3000 show movie that I couldn't believe is on it because it
Well,
is weird. It's like Space Odyssey 20, like 2001.
Black Hole, which while I pull it up, you may want to talk about. Black Hole was Disney's effort at
Sci-fi.
sci-fi when Star Wars had happened, etc. So
Yeah,
there,
it was like
yeah, there are childish characters in it, or some child-friendly characters in it. But my God, I'm going to pull up some pictures while we're talking.
there's two real kind of friendly characters, but like
The rest of it's
after
psycho.
that, like the crew of the ship that lands on like the ship that big ship. I can't
Yeah.
remember really.
I will like what I'm showing on screen now, which I know that because of the delay you haven't probably got to see yet, Paul, is the two very cutesy characters. But the Maximilian, the gigantic robot with spinning
The
blades that you can see
red,
here,
yeah, the red one is just creepy as
absolutely
hell.
terrifying. Like it
Yeah,
was a trippy dark film. I'm so watching that again soon. I loved that film when I was a kid. It scared the
yeah.
living daylights out of me though.
But yeah, Solomon 67 says that he's got kids, so it's great value. We suggested that because a lot of people would probably get it so that they can plant their kids in front of us every now and again, just to kind of give them some entertainment, especially with the Disney backlog.
Yeah.
Like, which that's a real big kind of thing. Because like I've gone through like Flubber, and some other stuff
Right.
like Flubber, man.
Well, how
Like,
can you not love Flubber? Well, it's Robin. Now, did you watch the Robin Williams, or do they have? I think there was an original old before that. That was
they have the Nutty or the Forgetful Professor, which was the
yeah,
original one.
yeah.
No, I didn't watch that one. Um,
I gotta say,
yeah.
I the only old school thing that I've watched on it so far is I had never seen Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in incomplete, like is in all in one sitting. And the animation in that is incredible, and everybody's favorite song in the world, Hi Ho," is there. I'm not going to sing it because we'll get taken down for copyright or something. Um,
Yeah.
Weirdly, though, I still haven't seen all of it in one sitting because every time in my entire life, from the age of 4 till now, which is a lot more than four, I fall asleep if you play Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Apparently,
Huh.
it is my, my necrotic. It just completely knocks me out.
Huh. That's
Yeah, so
interesting.
fell asleep watching it again. Still have not seen it all in one sitting.
Well, just for your own education and education of the guys in chat, there's a fantastic, I think, documentary about the animation like process on YouTube, and it's like layer upon like it's fantastic the way because they it was the first time that they used which get separated backgrounds, and they did that by getting cells and they lined them up horizontally and then just or vertically and put a camera on top and just filmed through it. It's fantastic.
Uh,
Like,
the
but yeah, definitely check.
when you look at it and you consider that Snow White was, I think it was the 30s. I want to say, like it's the oldest. Um,
It is the oldest.
yeah, and when you look at through the decades, and you can actually do it by decade in Disney Plus, their interface seems to have improved since launch. I have noticed that because they've been making small tweaks weekly, and it's getting better and better. So fair play to them. One of the things you've always said about Amazon Prime is that their interface stinks. Um, Looks like Disney Plus are going to be on, on tweak patrol. They're going to keep tweaking it to make it better, which I think is a good choice.
Yeah, no, it's because that's one of the biggest problems with the Prime Video stuff.
Mm.
Uh, which goes the Prime Video stuff. It's like searching through it is an absolute nightmare. But which was the interface for Netflix has obviously come through the years of redevelopments and everything like
Yeah.
that. But Disney Plus is also considerably like fast like tracked their like UI design, which is great, just because it like lessens the amount of like headache of doing anything.
Oh yeah, and like I'm all for weekly improvements. And one of the things that back to the kind of you can look at it through the years. When you look at the animation that they did in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, you're like, my God, that thing is that old. And then you look at it and go, wow, they were doing literal magic. If you went to a cinema back then and watched these things, it would have been that was actual magic. It fits the definition. It's beyond belief of what you know can be done. Um, it kind of takes some of the shine off our modern CGI green screen crazy world where everything can be photorealistic. That you're like, sometimes now I think we're almost missing the art and the effort because it is so photoreal, our CGI, etc. But you really had a sense of the skill and the art that went into it. So I can watch that stuff all day long, and even if it's for kids, I can sit there and be like, wow, I'm watching art happen in front of me.
Yeah, like it's like there's still some films that still do the kind of methods that they do,
Mm.
but they're now a lot more expensive to make. So like because there's an anime actually called Sword of the Stranger, which is all hand drawn,
Oh
and it
wow.
is it is beautiful. Like, and it's not a lost art, but it is rarely done now, in the sense of kind of like just time and effort. But yeah,
Well,
um,
I can see that somebody's mentioned one of the things, and I was kind of burying this to pull it out when I needed it. We haven't gone through what Disney Plus offers. Disney Plus offers
no,
Disney. It offers
yeah,
Lucasfilm, which is Star Wars. It has Marvel, which is the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which everybody in the world knows about. But it also has National Geographic. Did you just sneeze?
yep.
Bless you. Um, Everybody bless him in the comments or whatever
I
Gesundheit is, the
I
thing is.
I found that sneeze.
You found it. It came back. But yeah, National Geographic. The one thing that nobody was thinking, I must get Disney Plus for Nat Geo. Awesome, phenomenal. I have watched way more National Geographic than I have Marvel, Lucasfilm, Disney, any of the rest of it. The Jeff Goldblum, him just being Jeff Goldblum show, where he talks about things and he looks into their culture and their history, is phenomenal. But then there's a documentary, I think it's called Into the Grand Canyon. It's about two guys who walked the entire Grand Canyon, which
Wow.
just, it doesn't sound difficult till you realize it took them a year and they had to do it in four sections and they almost died a half a dozen times. It's like an extreme thing. It's like climbing Everest, um,
Yeah, yeah.
which it shouldn't be because it's just, a crack in the ground, but man, it's good.
It's perfect. Like, that's great because you were mentioning it last week as well, or
Mm.
the last week about the Jeff Goldblum thing. So, I haven't gotten onto it yet,
Check
but
it
it
out.
is on my list, especially for the Easter weekend.
Yeah,
I decided that I'll give it a little bit of watch and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, no, I found a whole bunch of cartoons as well that I haven't seen in ages. The Darkwing Duck, Mighty Ducks, stuff like all that kind of stuff. But we also went through the
X-Men,
Pirates of the Caribbean, yeah, X-Men as well. That's all the Marvel stuff is
best
fantastic.
animated series ever. X-Men. Well, a bit of a big statement, but
Like yeah, like but yeah, we got yeah, because the Star Wars stuff is pretty cool. Because there's a lot more of the Clone Wars stuff and that kind of elements on us that I haven't gotten myself into yet. Um, but there's also elements. There's the Inhumans TV show is on Netflix, which I kind of want to have a look just because I've heard that it is so bad.
it is. Have you watched any yet?
No, I haven't watched anything,
Yeah.
and I also have a big problem with them deciding that one of their main characters should be Black Bolt because he says nothing.
Yes. That is not the biggest problem it has at all. I watched the first episode because, like you, I'd heard it was so bad. You look when the car is about to crash. It's terrible, but people like car crashes. Um, it's bad enough that you know me, I'm a completionist. You can't let me watch the first episode of anything. I'm like, I have to watch them all. Not this. No, I was like, yeah, one episode's enough for me. I'm done now. Thanks. You can keep that mess.
Uh,
Um,
that's
I
pretty.
Oh, sorry. I just want to say hi to. We have our friend from Belfast again. Hey ho,
Ah,
Michelle. Nice to have you with us. And I see Psalm 67 is saying that they have both Disney and Netflix. But for me, Netflix is still my go-to. Same for me. Rewatching Voyager will be finished tonight. Exciting night.
ooh,
And luckily, one of my other favorite shows of all time, Community, has showed up with all of its seasons. So now
yeah,
I'll be watching Community forever.
that's a great one. It's a great one. Yeah, I've been going through on yeah, I've been mostly Netflix is the bigger one just because it has more of the adult kind of content stuff. But getting onto that, um, where do you think the more adult content for Fox is going?
Donde Asta La Deadpool,
Yeah,
and Logan, and even I think some of the X Men films are not there. I don't think X Men Apocalypse is there.
no,
Anything they
the
considered even remotely risky, they've kept off the service.
yeah, because even which goes certain elements of the Marvel universe hasn't been put on up until fully. Um,
Yeah, what's missing in the MCU? Because I did a quick count, and I was like, I think they're missing a film. Do you know which one it is?
they're missing a couple of films, so I haven't been able to find the starting films. But the original films haven't been put up there yet.
Oh,
Um,
that could be because they're still on another competing service in this region. You think?
that's my thing because I haven't. My thing is I haven't cross-referenced the catalog for Netflix yet, and like cross-referenced the missing films on Disney Prime or Disney Plus, and
Right.
added to the Netflix kind of like hosted ones. So I'm thinking that there might be some kind of contingency, but like the other thing
Yeah.
is that Netflix also pulled like Daredevil and all those kind of things. So they
Yeah.
haven't put them off the service yet, but like, where are they also going to go?
Well, that's a good question because they're not going to go to Disney Plus. I don't know why Netflix wouldn't just keep them as part of their library after Disney Plus is established again, if you know what I mean. I think they'll creep back onto the service because they paid for production. They can legitimately say they own them. They just don't own the characters going forward. So the deal is gone. But I
Oh,
think I think taking them down now is probably something that's only going to be for a while. There'll be a when Disney Plus is established 2 or 3 years from now, Netflix will be like, oh, by the way, do you remember those shows you loved? We're putting them just back on our library.
but here's an interesting kind of conundrum thing. If which is if you took or if Disney Plus decided to continue on with those shows
Mm-hmm.
and they put them onto let's say like Disney Adult or whatever kind of thing. Um, how bad? Like, what do you think? How would you feel if suddenly like Daredevil season 4 or Punisher season 3 came out and it was exactly the same quality, same like
I'd be over the
characters and
moon.
everything like that? Would you feel a little bit of kind of like I guess oh what is it kind of like connect or like
A
um
disconnect.
no, which is a little kind of like, oh crap, I can't believe that they're actually going ahead with this kind of stuff, you know?
To be honest with you, I would, you can give me more seasons of Daredevil and Punisher, and even Luke Cage, because got to say the second season was great. And Jessica Jones, I would watch more. The thing for
You
me
could just
is,
say that you hated Iron Fist, because you could just go out. It's like, yeah, they're all great except for Iron Fist is a
see,
piece of crap.
weirdly, and I want this on the record, I did not like some things about Iron Fist, but I ended up being a big fan after the second season of even the bits that I didn't like, because I thought Iron Fist, pound for pound, had the best cast. It just didn't have the best lead actor. I am squarely blaming um, whiny Donnie Rand. And don't get me wrong, that was
Okay.
a combination of writing and directing. But the evil brother and sister, all of that good stuff, like they had everything they needed to make a great show. They just hung it around. Not such a good call.
Yeah, yeah. I would watch an entire business show just based on the twins.
So
Just
would
just
I.
them just them constantly bickering. It'd be like Suits or something like that, or Mad Men, but just way darker.
Oh, well, one of them will have to go and marry a prince then. My little Suits reference. See, I know things outside of TV land. I love
Yeah.
Suits, but I didn't know her outside of that until she showed up in the front of a paper. I want to throw in the commentariat who are saying Hill Street Blues. While we've been talking away, it's great that we're talking about Disney Plus, but Hill Street Blues has made it in as something Michelle started watching. So fair play to you. That's a throwback. If you want to find an equivalent to that on Disney Plus, you're not going to. Um, but what I would say is Hill Street Blues is definitely worth it. That's classic TV.
Yeah, it is.
And
Very much
classic
so.
TV with great theme tunes. That's the thing we're missing today, folks. No more good 70s and 80s theme tunes or run ins or the character turns and looks and the name comes up. So
That's true.
one of these. Oh, I actually threw you up when I was meant to throw me up. So
Ah,
yeah, I just worked out which button I have for you and which button I have for me. So
though I have been watching actually on the Netflix front. I've been watching the Lost in Space, which goes season two,
oh
just at the just on the last episodes and stuff like that. That has a fantastic theme song. Like it's a fantastic theme opening.
wow,
Um, on top of like which is in line to the do you know Star Trek Enterprise,
yes,
the one with Archer and like that kind of thing. That
yeah.
had a fantastic uh intro as well.
I don't really remember it,
Um,
but yeah.
it just had a weird song,
Huh.
which is weirdly at the end of Patch Adams and the credits. There
Oh,
you go.
okay. That's the this is the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon for like TV and movie music. But you're so this is how shallow I am, and I really do want the commenters out there to either yay or nay me on this one. Is it right or wrong that I have no interest in watching the Lost in Space remake that Netflix did? Because I just decided, no, I'm probably just not going to use my time on it. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but the minute Paul said that it had a good intro opening theme, I was like, you know what, I might give it a go. It should have nothing to do with the show. It's only the credits and the song, but for some reason it gets me on side. If you're willing to put the effort in and have a nice opening or a good opening or an engaging opening or a memorable opening, I'm like, well, I'll give your show a chance. You've tried. So
Yeah,
is that crazy, Paul? Because I want to hear from it. Is it crazy?
I my opinion's not well. I guess yeah, it is a bit crazy. I
well,
came around.
well, nobody out there is mentioning it that I can see yet, but I am also seeing mentions of Kojak. So I think we should maybe turn this into a 70s and 80s detective thing, because Disney Plus does have some of that. Disney Plus will have a lot of the classic Disney movies that are of that kind of era, and well, you just mentioned Flubber. Like, there's a good example of those TV shows were sort of family friendly. Like even Kojak, as rough and tough as Telly Savalas was with his lollipop and all that stuff, he wasn't. He was still family friendly. They made everything back then so that 8-year-olds and up could watch it, even if they thought it was a bit edgy and boring sometimes.
Well, I'll be honest with you. chat is agreeing with you that it's not crazy, whereas I definitely think it's crazy to just be like, yeah, the theme song's great, but none of the,
Well, you're supposed to think it's crazy. I'm sitting back, so it's not just a load of head in the camera there, folks. I'm going to throw it out there, and we'll talk for like a minute about Disney Plus. What about Quincy? Now, is that Quincy MD, folks? Is that? Oh no, I'm thinking
so.
Ironside. No, Quincy was the medical doctor, right? Oh, nice
Yeah, I
one.
think Quincy is. Here's a throwback: Mash.
Oh well, one of the greatest TV shows of all time, MASH.
It is
Yeah,
fantastic.
it's and the movie, the Altman movie that spawned the TV show, is stunning as well. And weirdly, you know that really depressing theme tune, "Suicide is Painless," um,
Yeah,
written by Robert Altman's 15-year-old kid.
yeah, like it's harrowing kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, fantastic show.
Well, it's kind of harder to pick bad shows from back then because you accept them for exactly what they are. You don't expect any of them to be The Wire or The Good Place or whatever. You know, we've TV has moved on and changed. It hasn't gotten better or worse in some ways. I think we have more good TV now. The quality is just that little bit higher across the board. But what you'll accept for a 70s TV show like Chips, Chips, two guys in a motorcycle being cops in California Highway Patrol. It's an awesome show. Watch it now,
Yeah,
it's still an awesome show, but you're kind of going, oh, it's awesome for what it was then. Whereas if you remade it today, you would have one of them having a secret drug habit. There would have to be a Game of Thrones style Odyssey somewhere in the middle of it. It would go to many many more levels.
yeah, that's actually interesting because I was going to say I think also the reason that we remember like from the 70s and 80s like the great shows and stuff like that is because like the sieve of time has also only let those moments shine quite a bit.
That's true.
Um, but yeah, have you not like there's a show called The Rookie which has Nathan Fillion in it.
Yes, I have not watched it yet, but I remember watching the when it was going into pilot season. I watched the
Hmm.
trailer for it, and I was like, "Oh, that looks great! I hope it makes it so that I get to actually watch a season." It went ahead, didn't it? And I just never went back round,
Yeah, so like the trailer actually is a slightly this which
which
goes
is misleading.
yeah, because like it seems more like a comedy in the sense, and I think there is elements of comedy and stuff like that because it's good interaction, but it's actually quite a serious show,
Yeah, well,
and like
it looked like it had some things to say about age and relationships and where you are in your life.
yeah, like it's just the Nathan Fillion's character is quite good, because he's quite a lot older than the other recruits and stuff, but like all the characters are very good. It's just that which goes, uh, like it's slightly, as I said, the trailer was a little bit misleading in the sense that it seemed like a comedy, but it has dark moments in it. But like, is it nowadays that all like most of the things have to have some slight darkness? There's not a lot of shows that I know of that were meant to be lighthearted that also still don't have some element of darkness.
That's true, and I guess the reason I kind of haven't noticed so much is I gravitate towards things that will have a little bit of a darker side, or at least embrace the idea that wherever there's humor, there's probably darkness too. I think the last kind of batch of those shows that weren't looking at any sort of real, they went into the shadow a little bit rather than into the darkness, would be that Big Bang Theory, How I Met Your Mother, the wave of things after Friends. There was a
Yeah,
that
yeah,
style of TV show. They tended to stay away from any real darkness, just because I think they didn't want to lose their core demographic of people who wanted to just be cheered up.
yeah. No, I get you. Because New Girl, like Community as well,
Oh yeah.
like don't really go too far into kind of any, as you said, they go into the shadow kind of more than anything. But like, yeah, like I just noticed that like I'm like you, I gravitate towards the kind of darker humor kind of
Mm.
elements of things. But I have noticed also that like everything has come out of this kind of like, yeah, we gotta have like some kind of dark, gritty thing. that needs to
Yeah.
have. Like, I'm just like, really doesn't need it.
And you know what? Sometimes, and I'm just looking over here, Psalm 67 saying nostalgia isn't always a good thing. I'm going to have to ask you to follow up on that. Not you, Paul, but I'm going to have to ask him to follow up. And what was going through your head there when you thought nostalgia isn't a good thing? Were you thinking back to the flared corduroy pants you were wearing when watching Chips, or Magnum? Or oh, actually, there's something. By the way, for anybody watching this as a recording, because we're having fun in the live, we've moved way past Disney Plus at this stage. My final verdict on Disney Plus is it's actually cheap enough that it's worth it. Is there a huge library, a big enough library to keep you enthralled for a year? Not now, but they will add more. I actually think it's worth it for National Geographic alone. So I'd give it a thumbs up. Paul, would you give it a thumbs up?
Yeah, like I guess the National Geographic stuff is great. The Star Wars back catalog is also fantastic. It has all the Star Wars movies up there. Coming in August, I believe, is the WandaVision and the Captain America or Falcon and Winter
Winter Soldier,
Soldier
yeah.
shows, and then coming soon will be the Loki stuff as well. So like for those things alone, and also Series 2 of The Mandalorian, like there's a
Yeah.
lot of moving parts to it
And
going on.
like, make no mistake, there is no way we can undersell how good the Mandalorian is as an out of the box a launch title. You know, the whole console idea of you have your launch title and get your best game out with the console. They did a great job with the Mandalorian, and you wouldn't have bet on Star Wars against Marvel at that stage because Marvel were knocking it out of the park, and Star Wars wasn't having the easiest last couple of years. So for Disney Plus to launch on the back of a Star Wars property, and such a different type of Star Wars property was risky, but that they nailed it. Like there's no two ways about it. There's two words that will always be linked with that show, and that's Baby Yoda. But two
Yeah,
words that should be linked with it is still brilliant, because even without Baby Yoda, it would still be great.
yeah, no, I agree. Especially out of the coming out of the kind of era of like two not well received Star Wars movies.
Hmm.
Like it came out of there. Actually, three as well, because Solo came in between Force Awakens and
Jesus. So let's never.
um,
Yeah. It's like Candyman. I
it's like
don't want to say Solo in case
or the
I'll have to
or the
watch it
Crystal
by
Skull
accident.
or the Crystal Skull, son of a bitch, boom.
I can
Um,
see. Sorry to break in. Psalm 67. The A team just looked lame today. Also got more cynical in my old age.
mm,
Uh, Two Fist
Two
looks
Fist
sick.
looks sick. I wanted this. Oh, you mean the fight
Oh yeah,
show?
yeah.
Um,
The Fire and Ice. I'll get that image to you. Actually, not a problem. Oh, we've got Brew FM in at. At what point will it be mandatory for people to have to wear Mickey Mouse ears? You know what? If Disney does take over the world, I will happily wear the mouse ears because they are already listening. I guarantee you that they've got an operative or an algorithm watching this for any of our deviant behavior. They will send,
mm,
the theme parks are shut down. So all those animatronic rides, they're out on patrol now, just taking out people saying bad things about Disney Plus.
oh yeah, like though here's the thing, because we were talking earlier in one of the streaming war videos that
Hmm.
there's a rumor going around that Apple may purchase or may try to purchase Disney.
Yeah.
The stocks in Disney has skyrocketed.
It's up 6%
It's
today, well, nearly 6 today, which was a
which
real swing because it was going the other way.
like with the closure of the parks, like obviously the closure of the parks and the merchandise going down, and they're kind of like the movie franchises kind of like not being able to be released in cinemas and stuff. Yeah, the stocks were going down, but ever since the release and the boom of like Disney Plus, their
Mm.
stocks are starting to stabilize again, which is funny enough what we said would possibly happen in the sense that like yeah, the streaming service is going to take over. Like look at Netflix, the stocks are ridiculously high and they're only like a streaming service. So
Eh,
like in the closure of sorry,
no, no, I was just about to say, hear us out, not afraid to say we told you so.
oh like Netflix is only a streaming service and they're perfectly fine. If
Mm.
Disney now has to move to a streaming service like kind of
Well,
structure for a short period of time,
yeah.
like we can find that Disney just turned around to Apple after after we're released from isolation and lockdowns when their parks back open. Like, might just try to buy them just as a revenge piece.
You never know. You never know. You could end up having your Disney iPhone in your pocket eventually. That's true. And to your point there, Brew FM, you could well end up wearing those Mickey Mouse ears, just as part of your like next wearable phone. We have more chat. What do we have there? Also, I think Disney have hit the ground running, but considering how big Disney is, I wouldn't have expected anything else. I would say one thing about that. I did, like I said, all of these companies, Microsoft launched the Xbox and knew they weren't going to make money until probably the second generation of the damn thing. Disney did not launch Disney Plus as a way to make money straight away. They were in it for a 5-year span going, we're going to get in there. This is a long game. We're gigantic. We can do no wrong. We need somewhere to put all our content after we make we make Endgame. We make $3 billion. Well, they make about $1 billion out of it because all the other costs go elsewhere. We want to get some of the back end on the other side of it. Why do we want to help somebody like Netflix? Did I see it going this way? Yeah, I think both Paul and myself did, but maybe not for the reasons that it has turned out. Would they be as successful right now without COVID-19? I don't think they would be as successful. They still would have been incredibly successful.
I think the eventuality, like the slow build up, as you said, they were expecting probably not to make as much money.
Yeah.
For the first year, but COVID-19 has just changed the landscape entirely. I probably won't not surprised that the stock market, the stock market for Netflix and all the streaming services has exploded, just simply because everyone's locked at home and can't go out too much, but like in the face of not having it, yeah, I think they still would have made a loss in the first year. I don't think they would have hit the 50 million mark in the 6 months or the 5 months that they have.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, they're still going to operate at a loss for a while. Like they're still going to have to wait a few years before they're making money out of it. But the fact that they're on a trajectory that we thought they'd be on, we guessed the progression. I think the only thing that's changed is the timeline. It's just shortened up a little bit, but it does mean the thing that we're not talking about is all the people we're not talking about. We have mentioned Amazon Prime as the only other service so far. Disney Plus and Netflix, we knew were going to be big players. Amazon Prime, it's there. That's a different service that happens to have streaming attached to it. I would not want to be the people trying to launch NBC Peacock right now. Is that what? Yeah, it was Peacock, wasn't it?
Peacock, CBS
Apple
Peacock,
TV, the Apple actual TV streaming service. They should be going, yay, it's streaming service time. It's not really. Not for them. Their timing has not worked out.
No, not at all. HBO Max, though, they've opened up their services to certain shows and stuff like that to be free and able to be watched without having a subscription. I think that's kind of a fishing net to try, like a bit of bait.
Oh yeah,
try to get people into the HBO thing.
The first one's for free; you pay for the rest. A little bit of the old drug dealer tactic. Very good, makes sense.
Yeah. We got their timing is impeccable. Yes, some people have also suggested that there's a possible direct connection with the old COVID-19 and the Corporation of the Mouse. Conspiracy theorists, obviously, the people who are currently burning 5G telephone things.
Oh yeah. Well, you gotta love a conspiracy theory. Woody Harrelson apparently is buying into that one. If you heard about it in the same source as me, then yeah, you would have seen that Woody's on that train. Woody Harrelson, I plead to you. You are a personal cool dude hero of mine. Don't go down that route of conspiracy theories right now. COVID is not a time to be conspiracy theorying out.
No.
I do want to call out one little sly move. Solemn 67, we're going to out you a little bit as to who you are because you just mentioned a game. Animal Crossing's a video game, everybody. It's not a video game channel. But I happen to know that person is a fan of a video game podcast called Last Save Loaded. You can find that podcast wherever podcasts are to be found. And you will maybe hear the man behind that particular handle. So nice try, but we're not pivoting to video games just yet. Cheeky.
I will cheekily say one thing about the Animal Crossing
Oh
thing.
yeah.
Um, like with the timing impeccableness, I don't think people would be surviving. A lot of people I know would not be surviving as well without the Animal Crossing.
Oh really? It's Nintendo Switch primarily. I'm assuming it's because
Yeah.
I'm not really keeping up.
Yeah, it's a Nintendo Switch game, which also Nintendo Switches are impossible to find.
Oh really?
Yeah, it is unbelievably lucky that me and my girlfriend have two.
Oh wow.
We're considering selling the other one and mortgaging a house.
You should definitely, if you are at peak Switch in your home, make the money back now, and then buy at the bottom of the market. You can like start stock market surfing the Switch kind of game.
Yeah, probably.
We're heading towards the final phase of the show because we cannot run forever. Otherwise, no one will watch this as an actual recorded video. So I really do want to put a big plea out to all 7 people watching right now. Get your questions in there. Now's your time to ask us anything you want, as awkward or as challenging. Be creative. Don't be offensive. Be probing, like any alien abduction, but also be gentle, like any alien abduction.
Can I ask you a few questions?
Paul will kick us off with some questions, and I know what he's doing because this is related to a text that we sent each other the other night.
So, this is a new segment, as I am calling it. Let's quiz Patrick.
Oh, quiz away.
Today's subject is the Spice Girls movie, which I've heard that you have an unbelievable amount of knowledge at. So I'm gonna give you a first question, and then we'll check the chat.
Yes.
Which goes, the song the Spice Girls were singing at the beginning of the movie was.
Oh, see, like you took it way too seriously that I have a whole load of knowledge. They were not singing one of their own songs, I'm assuming. So, probably girls just want to have fun or something like that.
It is the song "Too Much."
Is it one of theirs? Do you know?
I I don't know.
See, I nearly turned that on you, and then I'd be like, haha, you know all their songs. No, like you're gonna have to pick the easier ones because I just happened to get the Spice Girls question right in a quiz recently, and everybody is like, "How come you know so much?" I was like, "No, I just happen to know that."
Well, we got one question from the chat, which is Solomon67 asks, if you had to choose one streaming service, which would you choose?
Netflix. Like it's a no-brainer for me. What about you?
It's getting more difficult, I'll be honest with you. It definitely depends on the mood I'm in. Like I've watched a lot of stuff on Netflix now that I'm kind of like, I don't want to say I've completed Netflix, but
Well, you haven't watched Tiger King, so you haven't completed Netflix.
Yeah, I haven't watched that, but I'd say Netflix, but it's a little bit more difficult.
What would your, like, if I put a gun to your head now and said pick one, and you're going to pick Netflix, but what would you pick if it wasn't Netflix? What are you debating? What would your second choice be?
See, it's the shows because although I love the nostalgia kind of ness of the Disney Plus, I'm actually a lot of the original content on Amazon Prime has actually got me like into it a lot. Like you got Jack Ryan up there with John Krasinski.
Mm-hmm.
You got well, yeah, you got Jack Ryan. You got The Boys. You got the Carnival Row is really good as well.
Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is up there.
Yeah, like and coming soon is possibly some which is not Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings esque things, and I don't know the possibility of the Dark Tower series. Also, being honest, has also gone down. That's gone down, but it won't happen. There's some other questions in the.
Yeah, what's up next on the questions there?
What's the best thing about streaming services as opposed to TV apart from the shows on top?
Oh, that's a good question. For me, and I'll go first in this, it's the ability to stumble across something that you would have otherwise just forgotten. So just like, when you were back before streaming services, something would come on TV just as you're about to go out and you're like, oh, I wish I could actually stay here and watch that movie. I haven't seen that since I was a kid. Or there's a TV show that I really liked, but now I have no access to watch it because it's on right now. Or you're off sick for a day and you realize that they're showing all of Community or something at 3 o'clock in the day when you're in work. Streaming service, when you come across something that you're like, yay, nostalgia moment, or yay, I'm just interested, you don't have to watch it right then and there. You can go, yeah, I'm going to come back and get it. Oh, my light went. So that's for me. It's you can happen across things. I like the happy accidents sometimes when you're just browsing around Netflix.
I have two, which is the yeah, it's similar kind of. Well, no, I think it's just the convenience of being able to watch anything when I want to without ads. That's a big thing for me. But the other thing is, I Netflix comes with me when I'm on the bus, when I'm on the train, or when I'm on an airport. I can like watch Netflix when I have any kind of time or anything like that. So that's really really handy for me.
Oh,
Or any streaming service really, just being able to take it with me on the phone. You know.
that's a definite advantage. And I can see that we have another question just to try and follow them in. MH asks, what shows would you both recommend to me to watch on Netflix? What would we both recommend? So how about we take one each? We'll take two shows.
Two shows. Okay, yeah, go for it. Have you got one?
Have you got one ready? Because I would, if you haven't seen Community, I would say do it. If you're gonna go, if you're gonna go Netflix originals though, I would say Ozark, and it's now on its third season. I think Ozark's actually worth it. You'll know by the third or fourth episode if it's something that's going to do it for you. It's not one of these shows that you should stick with if you still hate it 3 or 4 episodes in. But it's good. Yeah. And it's intriguing.
I'm gonna go. You should definitely watch TV shows. So you should watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Classic shows.
Because that's a great show. Currently, it's very very good. What TV show would I recommend after that? That's a hard one. Quite a lot that are quite good.
Well, do you want to say?
Since you're actually missing the outside, you might possibly be missing out the outside world. Planet Earth.
Yeah, which is as close to National Geographic on Netflix as you're going to get.
Like Planet Earth and Planet Earth 2 is quite good.
Yep. Watch it in full 4K if you can, and just soak in the beautiful planet that we're currently trying to kill, and maybe it's angry enough that it's trying to kill us back. I'm not going to go there, but I've got my own mental conspiracy theories. I would say...
so what you're saying is that we're failing to kill the planet, so now it's killing us back?
Yeah.
So after the pandemic...
Yeah, only one thing we can do. Let's all buy cars and drive more.
Oh yeah, we have to kill this planet. It's trying to kill us.
Like, you all saw it. He had a gun. It's a real moment. There's talk of it's just fallen into Tiger King.
The Tiger King. So Patrick.
Yes.
By any chance, what is your opinion on the very popular documentary TV show on Netflix called Tiger King?
I think they did a good job at making it. I'd watched, I think it was Louis Theroux had done something with them before. I'd seen Tiger King a few years back. Seen the guy, Joe Exotic, the central douchebag. But This thing takes it to a level. It's real making a murder type documentary if you watch that. So it's real sensationalized and it's real. It's really laid out in. So it is a documentary, but it's shot like EastEnders. It really is trying to play the game. But everybody in it, and I mean just about every of the main people, are either sad, pathetic, or just not good people. Like, there are one or two people who seem nice, but you just feel really, really sad for them because they're in crappy situations. So what do you get from watching something like this other than it's really, really terrible that these people are so rich, powerful, influential, and that there are more tigers in captivity in America than there are tigers in the rest of the world. So it kind of annoyed me, but that's because I'm an animal lover, and I'm a real... I don't tolerate these people who think I should be able to own tigers because I think it makes me look cool. I don't really have a whole lot of sympathy for those people.
Yeah, that's kind of terrible.
I went to
Try
the
not to
rant there.
swear.
Sorry, you knew that rant was coming. That was a setup question.
Oh, it was a set of question for your rant. Can you also tell us? Can you also tell us slightly the premise of the show, in
Oh,
case
sorry.
no one knows?
Yeah, for anybody out there that doesn't know it, there's a guy called Joe Exotic who in I want to say Oklahoma. I'm not too sure. He has his own zoo essentially. It's a big cat wildlife preserve. So he's got loads of tigers and lions and etc. Big cats. But he also breeds little cubs so that you can come and pet them and play with them, and you can get your picture taken with them for your Instagram or your Twitter, and you can let your kid play with a fuzzy little animal. But those little animals are only good for that. They're worth a lot of money because you can charge somebody a lot of money to play with a real life tiger. But they're only worth that for the first, few months of their lives. Then they're kind of no good to him. So you can kind of see where this is going. This is somebody who's generating baby tigers that don't need to be in this world because nobody's going to look after them. And then just... Yeah, so it's about that guy and about all the shady characters around him and his vendetta against another shady lady who has a sanctuary for big cats where they're all supposed to live in blissful harmony, but they also are just a bunch of big cats in cages. And then there's a murder plot or a murder for hire plot. So I'm not going to spoil the show, but essentially the FBI are involved before it's all over. I didn't expect it to be describing Tiger King today, so sorry, I didn't prepare. I would have been better.
Oh yeah, no, sorry, I just yeah, I completely leaped onto that. Right. Yeah, like, what else can you really talk about, like, other than Tiger King? It seems to be exploding throughout the thing.
It's
like,
true.
I don't know, from your description, I don't know if I'm gonna. I probably will. The morbid curiosity will get me.
Oh, it's a hell of a
and
spectacle.
I'll probably watch it.
Like you can't believe that these characters exist in real life for some of it. Like it is larger than life, and you can still tell that these are real life people. So that's it's drama, and it's like wow, but there's a real voyeuristic nature to watching what are obviously people with drug problems and people with emotional problems. That's why they're larger than life. They're broken people, and you're kind of watching them dance around a little bit for your entertainment. So. Yeah. I regretted watching it after I did, I'll be honest.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
It's very rare for you to watch a film, well, not for you personally, but like, it's very rare for a person to watch something and regret watching it. Like, I remember watching Chernobyl and was like, this is a heavy, like TV show, but I didn't regret it, even though the amount of death and everything that was involved.
Oh yeah, but that's because it's an important story that people shouldn't forget, where this is, like, nobody wins out of this. Nobody comes out of this better off, not the people, not the cats, not the lions, not the tigers, not the public, not anybody, and not the viewer. You just come out the other side going, wow, we probably should start controlling breeding of humans too. Yeah, well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get you.
So yeah, like I would still say if your thing is seeing crazy people be crazy and just beyond what you thought humanity had gone to, absolutely do it. But if you want to watch a documentary that's going to actually teach you something about the planet, watch almost any other documentary series.
Yeah, agreed. So we're coming up to the end. So is there any closing remarks or closing questions for the chat so closing remarks for the streaming services that are currently, because it has evolved into a streaming wars type conversation. Any predictions for the next, let's say, 2 months about the streaming wars? Do you think that Disney's going to explode even further? Do you think Netflix is going to come out with something? Do you think HBO Max is going to eventually get over here? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, and I guess we should throw that question to each other, because as my closeout for this, I'm going to say the most interesting thing for Disney Plus now, what happens next, is those big shows. It needs Mandalorian Season 2 to happen. And with everything being production delayed and affected, I don't know how that'll affect WandaVision and Captain America Winter Soldier. I don't know how it'll affect Mandalorian either. I would say they will be putting a lot of money into catching up on any lost time for production, because the last thing Disney Plus wants now is to have a lot of people hitting their 1 month or their 1 year subscription anniversary and not be adding the key content that some people subscribed for, which is Mandalorian Season 2, WandaVision, Captain America, not Captain America, what's it called? Falcon Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
The
I said
Captain America
America,
show
Falcon
is what it should be called.
like I'm similar to that. If Disney doesn't kind of deliver on what it's asked, on what it said would come out in the August kind of months and stuff like that, it'll probably see a bigger drop. But which is, if Netflix doesn't strike back with an original that really hits home, like, I'm not going to say that Netflix is going to be hit off the throne anytime soon, but it's in danger to quite easily. But yeah, there's no other services. HBO Max, I want HBO Max to get here.
Me too.
Such a bad catalog that's good, but
And
probably
I
won't.
think Sky Atlantic might be our problem there. Like, I don't know. I haven't been able to find any good, reliable source to actually clear that one up yet. I can say this is maybe a great way for us to end. Thank you very much to the people who stuck with us and thrown in the questions. We have a kind of a final couple that I'm going to tie together because it's MH makes a great point that Netflix is starting to feel a little bit stale or tired in its layout. They could do with a user experience, a UX refresh, not because what they have is bad, but maybe just to make it feel new again a little bit.
Well, Facebook just did that as well.
And well, yeah, that's actually true. And Nora is saying that she thinks people might be saturated by the time lockdown ends, so there'll be some unsubscribing. I actually think there's an interesting study to be done there, and that's definitely something we'll cover on the channel when everybody is released from their homes, and also possibly, unfortunately, some people will be more financially strapped. Will there be a lot of cancelling of unneeded expenses, and also people wanting to spend more time outside for 6 months?
Yeah, well, we'll have to see. I think if certain cinemas survive, I think they'll find a boom.
Yeah.
I think cinemas might find a resurgence in people going out to watch it.
Well, I can guarantee you, when the cinemas are open again, I will be buying more cinema tickets than even I usually do. So I think you'll find there'll be a stretch of movies watched that I normally wouldn't even bother going to the cinema to see, just so I can get back and support them.
I want to find out if Screen 9's been changed.
I was just about to say, and me and Paul have a date with Destiny to go and see the new Screen 9. You gotta show me if they've fixed all the problems.
I really hope they did. I really hope they did.
I really hope so too. All right, we are at time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your company. You've all been great. We've got a few people saying good luck. We'd like to say thank you and goodbye. Also, check out our other content. Like, subscribe, share, comment, yada yada. If you weren't part of the live, consider joining our next live stream. Not all of our content will be live streamed, so have a look. You will find plenty of videos that are pre-recorded and edited and all sorts of good stuff. But for now, Paul, are you happy for us to head out of here?
Yeah, no closing remarks or anything. Great.
Then what do we usually say?
So, I've been Paul.
And I've been Patrick.
And we've been Hear Us Out. Bye-bye.
See ya. As he scrambles to find the stop streaming button.
God, it's so